I'm here to breathe some encouragement over you. And I just wanted you to know that I get it. Homeschooling can kind of freak a mama out because it feels like, especially if you're the one doing most of the teaching, it can feel like the weight of the universe is on your shoulders. Because if your kids can't read, if they can't do math, if they can't solve critical thinking problems, then the buck stops with us, right? I want you to know that you are enough, that what you're doing is investing in the future of your kids, and it will pay dividends for them in the future. Do less academics and spend more time investing in the relationships with your kids, especially if they're under the age of 13. Lean into jumping in puddles and going on hikes and going for adventurous drives. Find hands-on projects that are interesting to them and tap into the areas that they find passion, that they find interest in. Be interested in what they're interested in, excited for what they're excited about, and just enjoy your kids. Read tons of books and experience lots of things. Pay attention to what it is that they lean into and then give them more of that. Breathe life skills over your kids: how to change the toilet paper roll, how to ask for help when you get stuck, and all of the things in between that will make them successful adults. It's easy to trip over curriculum as if you're a track and field runner that is jumping over a hurdle and somebody lifts it right at the last second. So it trips you and you fall on your face and it hurts, right? It hurts to skin your knees. We forget how much it hurts to skin our knees unless we fall as an adult again, and oofed, does not feel good. But mama, you've got this. You've got this. You chose a different way to educate your kids. You're choosing to homeschool. Wow, what a high calling. It is not for everybody. I do not believe that homeschooling is for everybody. I believe that most kids would benefit from a homeschool-like environment where they're free to be kids and free to explore and free to be loved and free to rest and all those things. But you specifically chose homeschooling. If only for today, if only for this week, if only for this year. We always chose to revisit homeschooling every year, never sure whether we were going to continue homeschooling all the way through. But we did for most of the boys. When I look back at 25 years of homeschooling and all of the kids being so successful as adults, they can do all the things that their peers can do, plus they're kind, they're considerate, they're responsible, diligent, and all those things. When I look back at what we did, so much of it was just hanging out together, playing games, exploring, enjoying, learning things side by side, and talking life lessons over the boys. When you get stuck, where can you find help, right? What are the 3 no-nos of communication? To know your audience, know the purpose of what you're doing, and know if there's any specialized vocabulary. Those types of things have helped the kids now 18 and older. When they step into a challenge, they're able to look at it strategically. How can I get the help that I need? Ooh, if I need to create this video, what is the purpose of the video? Who is it for? And what kind of language do I need to be using? Don't get hung up on the things that don't matter. Grade levels don't matter. They were invented by some bald dude that just wants to sell you the next grade next year. Because if your kids do 3rd grade this year, he knows you're going to want to buy 4th grade next year. But those grade levels really don't mean anything. They really don't. They really, really don't. Are academics important? Of course, right? We want our kids to read. We want them to write. We want them to be excellent communicators, and we want them to be able to know whether or not they have enough in their bank account to actually purchase that thing that they're contemplating purchasing, or how much paint they need to buy in order to paint their mom's house for Mother's Day. You want them to be able to do the foundational skills. Those things are important. But more important than that are the relationships with your kids. More important than the academics are their ability to think critically, to be organized, to be kind and disciplined and responsible, and all those things. I know that being a homeschool mom is overwhelming because not only do you have to teach, you also get to cook, you also get to clean, you also get to drive everybody around, and you get to answer to all the people that are saying all the brilliant things like, your kids are going to be behind. Your kids are so far behind their peers. They're never going to succeed in life, etc., blah, blah, blah. So it feels overwhelming. And the success in homeschool, you don't see it in the moment. You don't see it until the kids are very late into high school or as they launch. So it's kind of like navigating through the fog. And I just wanted to come out here and let you know that you're on the right track. Push through, keep going, don't quit, but don't focus so much on the academics that you lose your kids, that you don't equip them for real life. Somebody that we know in our life was homeschooled, and this person really struggles with life. They have no, now this could be whether they're traditionally schooled or homeschooled, but this person has not just poor social skills, they're also like a manipulator, like not a really great human being. And that is a product of the way that they were educated along the way. I can tell you, as a homeschool mom that has launched kids into life, that it is 1,000 times more important to raise your kids in integrity, to raise them with strong character, to give them challenges that are just a little bit too hard for them in order for them to stretch and grow, than it is for them to get 100% on a math test, or for you to complete all of the pages in the curriculum because it costs $697.42. So you're going to finish every single page. It's more important to set your kids up for success for life. And that comes in the problem solving, the communication skills, the taking advantage of the resources around them, so that when they get stuck, they know where to go, they know who to ask, all those things. You know, I talk to homeschoolers all the time, and they get so hung up on curriculum and lessons and all those things. And it's fun to learn, and hands-on projects and even some of the curriculum is so amazing, right? These things that our kids get to learn. But it's tempting to grade ourselves as doing well or failing based on whether or not our kids are progressing through a worksheet or a curriculum or a grade level. And those, it's like trying to measure a swimming pool's volume with a yardstick. It's the wrong tool. It's the wrong measurement. The measure of success in homeschool is not completing a grade level. It's sharing your faith with your kids and having them actually take the reins and carry their faith with them into life. It's making sure that they know their foundational math facts, the stuff that they're going to need in life. It's marinating them in literature so that they fall in love with story and they're hungry for knowledge. And it's equipping them to be excellent communicators by the time they graduate high school, that they're eloquent writers and they can communicate out loud. It's not finishing a grade level. It's not finishing curriculum. And I want you to know that as a homeschool parent, it's really easy to get off track. It's really easy to chase the curriculum rabbits, or to chase the grade level rabbits, or to chase the benchmarks in learning rabbits, and to neglect the child that's right in front of you oh, not intentionally, but you're not seeing them where they are and meeting them right there so that you can help mold and shape them for the next steps. Curriculum's not bad. Academic assignments are not bad. They just oftentimes fall short. They just don't see your kids the way that they need to be seen. Some of my favorite homeschool memories were glancing at an academic lesson plan and figuring out, oh, okay, let's talk about the parts of speech. And then I would write that on an index card and put it in my back pocket. And then everybody would put their shoes on and we'd go for a walk. And we would listen to the birds and we'd watch the squirrels and the kids would sword fight. And then I would say something like, okay, at that point, we're going to stop and I'm going to pull something out of my pocket. We're going to do some school just for a few minutes. So we'd walk to that point. I'd pull the card out of my pocket and we'd talk about the parts of speech. And then we would note it for later so that in the read aloud time, we would actually identify these things in the parts of speech. And then I'd put the index card back in my pocket, and then we'd continue on our journey. And at the end of the day, at the end of 25 years of homeschool, what I can tell you is that there are things that we missed. The kids did not learn every academic benchmark that people think that they should know. But it doesn't stop them one bit from succeeding in life. It doesn't stop them one bit from being champion people, excellent writers, excellent communicators, excellent. I actually, even though I had no intention on raising an academic child, I still raised me a mathematician scientist, even though I really pushed for the adventure. If you have academic kids that are destined to do things like be a scientist, doctor, lawyer, professor, those types of things, it wiggles right out. They ask the big questions. They push you beyond your limits. The other kids settle into what it is they want to do. I have a historian that if I started speaking about anything in history, he would go, wait, and he'd run and pull every book off the bookcases that had to do with that period in history. He knew where all the facts and stuff were in the house. It was fantastic. Another one was my artist. He was always covered in marker and he's a wordsmith. So he was always spinning tales and telling stories and working on screenplays and those types of things. I have a musician that, man, he just got his academics done so that he could play his guitar. He practiced his guitar, no lie, 2 to 4 hours a day for over a decade, 12 years. He's now a master musician against my will. My next son turned into a mathematician scientist. He would shut the book on something like bacteria and he would go, oh, don't you just hate it when the chapter on bacteria is done? And I would say, no. I went to drop him off yesterday and he's talking to me about, how you're reading about particle physics and you're starting to put together, and my eyes got really big, like, dude, where did you learn this stuff? Because I neglected that part of your education. And then our youngest son didn't read till he was 10, ADHD, dyslexic, master bugger of the brothers. And yet he's pursuing business at a private university and rowing for a university crew on a Division I team. All of the boys, by the end of the homeschool journey, we were able to check off all the boxes. Graduated, check. Associate's degree, check. Some of them already have their bachelor's degree. Some of them are earning towards their bachelor's degrees. Some of them got scholarships and were recruited to private universities. Some of them own their own business. 2 of them are married. They all succeeded. They had whatever the check marks that you would say, this is a successful human, I can check it next to all of them. Even though one didn't talk till he was 4 and a half. One didn't potty train because of medical surgeries until he was 4. One didn't read until he was 10. All of them actually were delayed readers. and yet they're all eloquent speakers. They win speech competitions. At least two of them win speech competitions. Some of them are dramatic presenters on stage. And they're all just amazing people. And I want you to know that if you were to take academics aside and just push it over to here, especially if your kids are under 14, 13, 14, if you could push academics aside just for a moment and then concentrate on building relationships with your kids, really see them, really spend time with them. Put the devices away, go for walks, go on the beach, go for a drive in the car, go for a bike ride, knit, paint, do the things. But like, spend time with your kids, play games, laugh, cry, do all those things together, watch movies together, especially in that season when curriculum falls short, right? Curriculum doesn't see your 12-year-old. Curriculum gives them a whole bunch of stuff to do, and they think, yeah, I live in the world with a supercomputer in my hand. Why do I need to know this? And because you're just moving through the lessons, you can't answer their question. Now they're checked out. But if you invest in your relationships with your kids, you're able to survive the hormonal transition that goes through, and you're able to know your kids in a way that you can see what makes them tick. And then you can start to design and orchestrate learning that will help them catapult into their future life. And I can tell you right now that kids that are glazed over sometime between like right around 10, 11, 12, when curriculum falls short, you'll actually see the sparkle go out in their eye and you'll see the color drain out of their face because it's dead and boring and they know it's just not what they need. But if you can tap into what they love, you'll see the excitement come back in their face. They'll lean in closer and they'll be all in. Give yourself permission to slow down, to do less academics and more relationship building, to do less academics and more life skill coaching. Take the kids outside and tell them to take the wheel off the car, the tire off the car, and then put it back on. Oh my goodness. They love that. They love that. Let me teach you how to change a tire while it's dry and sunshiny and it's not too hot outside. Let's spend today learning how to change a tire. You only have to do it once, and then they know they can do it when they get a flat on the side of the road. Spend time with relationships and life skills. Always push academics aside if there are heart and character and attitude issues, because that's more important. It's more important that you build on strong character. And if you put academics in front of that, it's the wrong thing to be teaching. It's the wrong thing to be teaching. Boy, have I seen that fail. So bad. You end up with educated jerks on the other side, and it's just not nice. It's just not nice. This world has enough twits out there. We don't need to raise more of them. So that's kind of it. Mama, I know it's hard. I know the pressure. You know, it may even be people that you live with or that are really close by saying, gosh, all they did was play today. How is it that they're being educated? I want you to know that over the course of the journey, building relationships, character, focusing on attitude and heart, and sprinkling learning, it catapults the kids at the end past their peers. And suddenly everybody that was saying, wow, your kids really don't do a lot of school, are turning you in and saying, what did you do? How is it possible that your kids are so amazing? How is it? They stick out like sore thumbs in this world. They are amazing. What did you do? And the reality is that you just lived life. You followed that verse in Deuteronomy that basically says, from sunup to sundown, bring your kids with you, have them right by your side as you're doing everything, and talk about me. And as long as you stick to that, it's so fruitful, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. I would love to hear your comments. below. Make sure you grab the goodie that I have for you and hang in there. It's a long journey, and I know it can be frustrating. I know it can be overwhelming, but it's worth it. It's worth it. See you soon.